Well, what we're about to do is we're going to review the Pyle PRO Mixer. In this case, it's a 4-channel Bluetooth PMXU46BT. But if you have this book or a mixer similar to this should help. Okay, I want to start the video this way using just the GoPro mic that's built into the camera without plugging into the mixer, so you can see the difference. And what I'm about to do is we're going to review the Pyle PRO Mixer. In this case, it's a 4-channel Bluetooth PMXU46BT. But if you have this book or a mixer similar to this should help. Okay, so check it out. I want to get better sound. I want to record from my good mic and my mixer here into the GoPro. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use the record output, the RCA plugs, and mine are black and white, but it doesn't really matter. The record output right there. And then I'm going to take this end of that cable, which most people have seen one like this before, and I'm going to plug it into my GoPro, which has the GoPro mic. Have that. And now we should be getting sound through the mixer, through the mic. And I can adjust the level output for the mic. Here's the main outputs for the mixer, and we'll see how that works. So I'm going to take a quick look, test and playback, make sure that's working. Then we'll go on with the tutorial. Okay, looks like we've got everything set up and working. We're hearing the sound through the mixer, out this cable, the record output, into my GoPro and the GoPro mic adapter. I'm going to get my mic a little closer here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you literally through this manual, going down their bullet list, talk about every single one of the features and clarify them a little bit more than the owner's manual does, and maybe you don't have the owner's manual, so this video should be helpful. Now, regardless of if your mixer is 4, 6, 8, 12, 16 channels, that's the one thing about mixers. As long as you understand one channel, you can understand it across the board. This is a 4-channel. 1, 2, 3, 4 channels. There are a few more inputs on this mixer, but mainly this is a 4-channel mixer. There's spots for 4 microphones. Really, 4 devices can be plugged into it. On top of that, it does have a channel to plug in a USB, so you can have a flash drive or your PC. So right now I'm hooked to my PC, which is generally what I do. I have the USB connection into my PC. The mixer becomes the microphone and the soundboard for the PC. So everything that I want to do into my PC can go through my big mic and through the mixer into the PC, and then I can record out as well. So that works out really well for me. Back to the channels. So as long as you understand one channel, you'll understand the entire mixing board. Aside from the special effects that we see here, the digital effects, and the other programs that you can do for recording right here. This also has a 7-band EQ and some other features as far as mute switches, PFL functions, things like that we'll get into. All right, so we touched on this. The first item on the list is the mic input jacks. Now, these are balanced XLR type microphone input jacks. So what that means is you have the 3 pins there. It can also take a regular input like that from another mic, so you could put it in that way. That's called a combo jack. So these are really what you want to find on your mixer. The more microphones you're going to have, you want to make sure you have a combo jack for every mic. So I use 2 mics, but I could have 4. If you're going to do 1 microphone, 2 microphones, and then maybe guitar or keyboard, you might only need a 4-channel mic mixer, which would have maybe 2 mic inputs and then a few more inputs like these that you could plug in your keyboard or guitar to. But most people, you want at least a 4 combo jack mixer. Let's look at the line input jacks. Those are labeled number 2 on here, and what they're talking about is the middle. So if you're just using a line level input, that's like that tip, it would also go in there. But these are the 3-pin XLRs for powered mics, and we're using the phantom power on the mixer to power the XLR cardioid mics. I got the newer NW700. It's a great cheap microphone on Amazon. plugs right in, powers up, sounds good. Just because everybody's curious about this too, you can turn up the effects, have some different stuff happen here. Right now we're on number 7, which we can see on the chart is 175 millisecond delay. If I want to change that to something different, go down to a shorter, or this is a room. I can go hall 2, down the hall. Okay, this changes the effect. We just simply twist to the number we want and then push the selector straight down. And then you can adjust with this orange knob that says FX, how much effects is on that channel. So, because in some cases you want a little bit of, let's put it to number 5, just a little bit of reverb, maybe for instruments, things like that, but you don't necessarily want it on the vocals. So we turn the vocals down there, but whatever other channels you do want that effect on, you can adjust independently. So if our keyboard or guitar was plugged in here, you'd be able to adjust that effect right there. This is the overall effect selector. This is the effects level master. This is the parameter. So let's turn it back up. And we can see if I crank that up, it gets louder and louder, and you can get more and more depth to that effect. So it gets pretty crazy. I think 7 is pretty cool because I imagine this is what they use for a song like Don't Cry by Guns N' Roses. They have a lot of this going on. So try that with your mixer. The digital effects, they're pretty cool. All right, let's move forward. We've had enough fun. Going down the line here, we checked out the inputs. Now you have the gain. The gain is the level of the input. Like how much do we want to amplify that input? If we turn it up, it gets more and more amplified right at the input, and it can pick up almost anything. Every little breath, every little sniff, it's got them all. So this is a sensitive mic. I keep the gain all the way down, and then I can adjust this level up a little bit. It sounds like it needs to go up a little bit. Then we have the EQ. So for this channel, we're microphone 1, got the high, the mid, and the low frequency adjustment. So you can see how it takes the bass out of that. And I put it in the middle. It's right there. Crank it up. I get the really deep voice. So with this channel, I'm just going to be right in the middle. The auxiliary output for this. So if you're sending effects out, sending the sound out of the mixer and through an effects processor and then back into the mixer at the return, you can adjust, hey, does this channel go out through the aux, through the effects processor or not? Maybe your guitar should, but your voice shouldn't, so I'll turn the aux down. It won't go out through the aux output. So that's the cutoff and the level adjustment for what goes through the effects processors. And that's advanced. Most people probably aren't doing that. I'm just using the mixer as it is. So let's move on. We've got the effects level adjustment. We already looked at that. If an effect is selected and these are turned up, then this will adjust the volume of that effect or the amount that you're using. The pan, this is simply left and right. We can pan to the right there, or pan to the left. If you want that channel to go out only more through one channel than the other, you can pan it. Mute. I can mute that channel, right? So that it's quiet and I can adjust. I can listen to it in my headphones, but nobody else is going to hear it. The pre-fader listen. So this is going to allow me to listen to this channel but not send it out. And this is a great feature of this mixer, not send it out to you. So I can push this and it's almost like being on mute, but you're just going to hear the sound without any of the other effects. So it allows me to listen to that channel without broadcasting the effect. Okay, now those are going to carry across all these channels, so we'll skip that. You got channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4. These are all down because we're not using anything here. Mic 2 is plugged in, but I don't need it. It's behind me. Nobody's talking to that right now, so I want it to be down. Otherwise we would pick up more noise from mic 2 over there. Okay, we're using mic 1. We adjust the volume there. All the rest are down, so none of these will matter. Nothing's going on here because we know we've basically shut those off. They're muted by the gains being pulled all the way down. Okay, let's look across the board. The effects. This is the master effects output, so that's something to mess with if you're using the effects. See how that affects your mix. The MP3. So this is the channel volume control for the MP3 channel, whether you're playing music through an MP3 flash drive or your PC is coming back into the mixer. This adjusts that level. So if my PC was playing music right now into the mixing board and we were hearing it, which we could do, then we would be able to adjust that level right there. Subwoofer level, how much subwoofer level do you want going out of the mixer? If you're plugging powered speakers into the main outputs, this is where you plug in your speakers, either here or here. If you're a DJ, you can control the subwoofer level of that output. Actually, the subwoofer has its own output, so it's right here. The subwoofer output to go to the sub, decide how loud you want your sub to be, and then you decide how loud your mains are right here. So these are the main faders. You're monitoring yourself, of course. You want to this is just how much you hear. So the headphones adjustment is right here. And these are my headphones plugged in. Here's the clip monitor, so we can see the levels. You can see that it's bouncing up and it's in a good range while I'm talking. We've got the send and return levels for that effects processor. So that's the master sending out to the aux, and then how much are you returning to the mixer. Still another advanced function. So if you're really into that, you want to look up that a little bit more. Okay, and then we've touched on the effects here, but then what is this one? Well, this is going to control the Bluetooth function in this thing. So if you had a USB flash drive in here, you could push this and select through the tracks on there. You could record to your flash drive by holding the record button down, and you can change the mode of PC to Bluetooth to the USB flash drive. It says there's not one there, so it knows if I hit mode again, I'm on PC. And then I've got a small EQ adjustment, the high and the low, for just this input. We talked about the effects. We've got the effects selector here, and then we've got the effects level and parameter. Lastly, the 7-band EQ. This is for the master main out. So if you want to equalize the entire mixing board before the sound goes out, we push this button. That turns on the graphic equalizer. I just turned it off. Now I'm going to turn it on, and I've got those set to where just pulling down a little bit of the sound that I hear, a little bit of the hiss, try to equalize that out a little bit. You see, we can tune some of that white noise out a little bit. And then get your EQ set kind of where you like it. I see a lot of them set with this kind of happy curve in the middle, getting it just like that. So I feel like this is a really good mixer. I've used a couple of Pyle mixers now. I had the Pyle, the 8-channel basic version before this, and the reason I switched is because of these features: the mute feature, the PFL, the EQ, and then also the sliders here. You don't get that on the regular mixer. It just has a few more features. It's really affordable. I believe this one's it's under $200. It's worth every penny. If you're doing a podcast, YouTube, Zoom, anything like that, this ups your game in the PC sound world, or if you're plugging it into a camera in your office. If you're just recording a podcast, you got to have a mixer and a good mic. It's really the way to go. We're having a lot of fun with it, enjoying the Pyle Mixer. So if you have any other questions, please comment, like and subscribe to the channel. I like to get your comments. I like to answer the questions. I know I didn't cover it all here. I know I probably got some stuff wrong, so I'm still learning about this mixer. So let's talk about it. Leave me a comment. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.